From the Alvin and Rosalie Sarachek studio, PBS Kansas presents Positively Kansas.
Coming up on Positively Kansas, a child star adored by millions, a Kansas town that became his refuge, and a tragic end still shrouded in mystery. Jim Grayway brings us exclusive interviews and details never before told. Plus, we'll try to keep up with some aging Cagers, also known as the blue hairs of the hardwood. We'll see love unfolding in the wild outdoors. An unforgettable episode of Positively Kansas starts right now. It's a story of fame, love, loss, and a Kansas connection that's still remembered but seldom discussed. Why did this beloved child star leave Tinseltown behind for a quiet farm in Pretty Prairie? What happened during his time here? And how did it all lead to a tragic and shocking end? Jim Grayway has exclusive interviews with people who were there and have never shared their stories until now.
For many of us, Carl "Alfalfa" Switzer is the mischievous, off-key singing star of the Argane comedies, later rebranded Little Rascals.
Let me call you sweetheart, I'm in love with you.
But for a brief time in the late 1950s, the famous child actor swapped Hollywood for farm life in Pretty Prairie, Kansas.
Fellas, this is one of the best ideas I've ever had.
A surprising chapter in the life of one of America's most beloved child stars.
You're darn tootin'.
It was 1954, 14 years after Alfalfa's last film as a Little Rascal, when he met Kansan Diane Collingwood.
Ain't she pretty?
Collingwood's family owned a grain elevator business based in Pretty Prairie. Diane was in Los Angeles with her mother and a sister who was trying to become an actress. She met Carl, or Alfalfa as everybody still called him, in Hollywood on a blind date arranged by John Wayne's brother.
You have personality. Have I?
She later said that they did fun things like swing on the swings when they were dating, and they went to drive-in movies. So they really dated and had a good courtship.
They quickly fell in love.
Will you be my Valentine? Will you be mine?
And married in Las Vegas just a few months later.
Now let's roll the dice and marry in Las Vegas, baby. Our love is in the cards, baby.
In early 1956, the couple welcomed their son, Justin Lance. With Alfalfa struggling to support his new family through acting alone, Diane's mother gave them a farm near Pretty Prairie. The Switzers packed up their lives and moved to rural Kansas, where Alfalfa attempted to trade scripts for soil.
I'll see you fellas later.
The Little Rascals had recently begun airing for the first time on the new medium of television. Alfalfa quickly became a well-known and well-liked figure in the small community.
Three cheers for Alfalfa!
Sonia Hayes was a teenager at the time,
He was quite a guy.
working at the local restaurant where Alfalfa came in every day for coffee. Sonia remembers Alfalfa as a friendly and approachable figure.
He was an outgoing person, just really liked people. He was a people person.
Alfalfa recruited Sonia to babysit on several occasions. At the time, she was dating Jim, who would soon become her husband.
Very nervous type of guy.
He had to be on the go all the time,
Yeah,
just
just
go. Doing this, that, helping people out. He didn't stand back and say, well, I'm from California and you're from Kansas.
he became a farmer. And Diane later said that he was really bad at it. But he had fun, and from what I understand, he became ingrained, no pun intended, in the area, in the community.
Although he embraced life in Pretty Prairie, Alfalfa never fully left behind his Hollywood roots. He made occasional trips back to California for acting gigs and attended local events where he was a celebrity attraction. In 1956, he made a personal appearance at the Sport, Boat, and Travel Show in Wichita, and later at the Kittyland Amusement Park, signing autographs and meeting fans. In April 1957, an old friend stopped by.
My pal.
None other than Spanky McFarland. The two former Rascals shared lunch and made a surprise appearance on Cake TV's Little Rascals show. It would be the last time they ever saw each other. Spanky would later say that during that visit, it became obvious to him that farm life was not for Alfalfa. By mid-1957, cracks in the Switzers' marriage led to their separation. Alfalfa returned to Los Angeles, while Diane and Justin, who went by his middle name Lance, stayed in Kansas.
During his Kansas period, he loved being close to his son. There's no question about it. And when he had to leave after the divorce and go back to California, it really tore him apart not being able to be with his son. They used to keep pictures of Lance up in the house, his mother's house, and Alfalfa's mother's house. And when Alfalfa would see it, he would ask her to put him away because it was too painful for him to see his son, because he couldn't be with him.
Diane later remarried, and her new husband, Richard Eldridge, adopted Lance as his own. As a child, Lance says he would watch the Little Rascals, not knowing that Alfalfa was his real father.
And I think it was in about the second or third grade, could have even been fourth later on, when I was told by a schoolmate who my dad was, and I didn't believe her. I thought it was a weird thing to say. So I went home and I asked my mother that I was told this about this television character I knew. And my mother sat me down and said, yeah, he's your dad. But I think after I found out about it, I was too self-conscious and never watched it again until I was probably in my 20s.
Although Alfalfa's time in Kansas was brief, it left a lasting impression on the community. Residents remember him as a friendly, outgoing figure who didn't put on airs about his Hollywood past. Sadly, his story took a tragic turn. After struggling to revive his acting career, he was killed in a dispute over money in January 1959 at just 31 years old. Lance went on to graduate from Buehler High School, then serve in the Army for 22 years, later settling in Northern Virginia. Though he has no memory of his father, he now takes an interest in his legacy, preserving memorabilia and sharing stories with his own children.
Maybe 15 years ago, I probably would not have called you back, but I'm more comfortable talking about it now. I think there's a story there that is worth knowing.
Though his Hollywood career defined him, for a short time, Carl Alfalfa Switzer was just another Kansas farmer, one who stood out and fit in at the same time. For Pretty Prairie, he remains a piece of small-town history with a little bit of Hollywood magic. For Positively Kansas, I'm Jim Grayway.
James Tarani's book, Alfalfa, The Rascal You Knew, the Character You Never Knew, is the first comprehensive biography written about Carl Switzer. It begins with his birth in Illinois and ends with his shocking and untimely death in Los Angeles. You can find it wherever new books are sold. There's nothing wrong with sitting in a rocking chair and knitting, but for some grannies, the thrill of competition and cheering fans is just too much to resist. Chris Frank shows us some aging cagers who are strapping on their high tops and hitting the hardwood.
It is a Sunday afternoon in late February, and the Mulvane High School gymnasium is hosting games for a type of basketball now growing in popularity.
Go Bills!
You will quickly notice the players aren't school age. These gray, white, and silver-haired gals affectionately call themselves grannies. This is granny basketball.
And it's amazing because suddenly granny basketball is really a thing.
Perhaps you've never heard of granny basketball. It's only been around since 2005. That's when Barb Trammell got some of her lady friends together for an exhibition game in Lansing, Iowa. They played by some 1920s era girls' game rules. They wore old-time cover-up everything type uniforms, including bloomers and knee-high stockings. By the rules, no bare legs or upper arms may be revealed. That would be a foul. The game was a hit. Others wanted to play, and soon teams and leagues formed.
We're having a great time.
That's a bit of its history. Now back to the present. 3 teams are competing in 2 games here. 2 Wichita teams are playing the Oklahoma City All-Stars.
We are All-Stars!
The All-Stars are getting their money's worth traveling to Kansas by playing 2 games.
I was just still being able to go play basketball at this age, over 50. Not telling you the age.
About the age requirement. You must be at least 50 years old to play granny basketball.
This is my first game, and I just qualified to play at 50 years old.
There's no age limit on the top side.
Go Bells!
ICT Arrow Bells ages range from 58 to 86. And there have been grannies playing into their 90s on some teams. Granny basketball markets itself as a gentle game for women of a certain age.
It's 50 to whatever, however long you want to play.
Granny game rules favor a slower pace for older players. For example, by rule, the grannies can't run and jump, but they can hurry. Here, a granny is whistled for running.
You know, I swear. Running.
That's a turnover.
You can move quickly.
But you can't
run.
Okay.
That's picking up your feet. You can shuffle. Shuffle's okay.
Lynn Schweitzer demonstrates with her feet the difference.
Not that.
But not
this.
And during a break between quarters, a ref advises both benches about running.
We're going to tell both teams this, but there is way too much running.
Yeah.
Also, grannies don't have to cover the whole court like in conventional basketball. There are 3 courts, front, center, and back. 2 players per team are in each court where they stay and pass the ball into the other courts. Guards on offense can shoot and score, while forwards defend. Centers are in the center court. Often teams rotate players so they get a chance to play at all positions. And you'll notice players are allowed 2 dribbles, then they pass or shoot. Like they call it, a gentle game for women of a certain age. But even in a gentler game, sometimes a player falls. It's called granny down. The fallen player has to sit out a play before returning. The rules are such to try to keep grannies from getting hurt on the court. Even so, mishaps occur. I no sooner got my camera rolling than when a granny hit the deck hard, resulting in a rare bloodletting upper eye cut. It was an innocent enough play, nothing intentional, nothing flagrant. A normal foul was called. Players were bumped, legs got entangled, and as the slow motion replay shows, hardwood contact can be hurtful.
What happened here?
They got a little bit aggressive and they tripped and fell, and so granny down, you have to stop the game, and then they have to be replaced for at least 1 round.
Players say granny downs are common, but injuries like this, they say, are rare. Once Wichita Arrow Bells player Janice Urban got to the bench, She was surrounded by 5 of her fellow players who took turns being nurses on the spot.
Don't put it, yeah.
She's laughing, so she's okay.
Nobody has ever bled before in 10 years. This is the first time I've seen it.
It's not that.
No, it's not common.
It's just not.
This cut may leave a battle scar. Despite the injury, Janice Urban was ready to get back to playing.
I'm going back in. Put me in, Coach. I'm going in.
We got to keep some pressure on it. No, you don't want to get a big old ball.
With so many carrying hands, Urban was about to be wrapped up like a mummy.
Whoa, that's enough. That's enough.
I know, I got to come around.
Come on, Gina. I have groupies here watching me.
It's supposed to be a gentle game.
It doesn't happen very often.
But we do fall. We do fall down.
And for the record, Urban did get back in the game a bit later. That's Urban with the head wrap getting whistled for running. It was only a couple of minutes earlier she convinced the others she was ready to play again.
Oh, so are you playing forward? Yeah. Are you okay?
I'm going to give it a whirl.
Granny basketball is designed to allow shorter and inexperienced players an opportunity to play against those who played competitive ball in their youth. And Granny Ball still opens the door for women who played competitive ball to continue to play, even if it's at a slower, gentler pace.
Some people like to continue playing, and you can't find all women leagues anymore, and you can't find 3-on-3, and I'm too old to play with the 20-year-olds. So here I am, 50.
Kendra Banzit, at 50, is a comparative youngster on the Wichita ICT Sugar and Spice team. Banzit is from Mulvane.
So this is my wife, Kendra, in high school.
She actually was a first-team All-State basketball star on her Mulvane High School team in 1991. She went on to college and play and star for the Central Missouri Jennies team. Banzit then came full circle back to Mulvane schools, teaching agriculture and business and coaching.
And now I teach here and coach. I coach 8th grade now.
She looked forward to qualifying for Granny play so she could get back on the court.
Make something happen.
Now, it's not every Granny player who has a cheering squad on the sidelines. But Banzit does, because this is Mulvane, where hometowners know her as a player and teacher.
What do you mean she's a bucket?
She's a walking bucket. She's going to make all of the shots she takes.
Students, former students, fellow teachers, and family alike are out rooting for her.
She's doing pretty good. She's already got 3 blocks. She's got at least 8 points so far, so I think she's doing pretty good out there.
Husband Darren channels what Coach Kendra might say to herself about her playing.
You know, she needs to go to the basket more. Play better defense. I've known her for 25 years, so I've got a whole slew of them.
Her teammates welcome the newcomer Banzit.
She's amazing, and she's so patient. And we're much older than her, so we're energized by her telling us what we should be doing. So we work on it, and we love it that she has come to us. Yeah. Get that rebound. Good rebound.
The players cheer each other on.
There it is. There it is.
These local teams have played exhibition games at some of the half times of the WSU Shocker men's and women's games. Those appearances.
It is us. It is us. That's us.
Yes. I didn't know that.
And newsprint stories have increased the attention to Granny basketball locally. The Grannies say playing ball gives them a good physical workout and more.
Activity keeps a person young. Yes, it's healthy, it's fun, and as long as you can be active, the better off.
And we get to laugh a lot.
Yes, we do.
We'll laugh a lot.
And you meet a lot of good friends.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
And no matter the score,
Game, ladies.
these Grannies are winning in the game of life.
Good game, ladies. Good game.
Doing more than just sitting at home. And that's a slam dunk. This is Chris Frank for Positively Kansas.
The Grannies are hoping to attract more Kansas players to form new teams, especially in the Wichita area. They might not have to travel as far for games if more teams can be locally organized. Now to the great outdoors, where love is in the air and on the water. Mike Blair captured it on video in this week's edition of Kansas Wild Edge.
One brown duck, a dozen white ones. Why is this grouping always a center of activity in late winter duck migration? It's a courtship ritual for northern pintails, and it always results in a special show for those who visit wild, often icy waters in March. Pintails are in a hurry to reach northern nesting grounds, but every headwind forces a temporary delay in their marathon flights. And for pintail drakes still unpaired, these are days to show off strength, flight, and dance skills to choosy ladies yet to select a mate. Most pintails pair earlier in winter, but younger birds often court along the way. It's a frenetic time when 5 to 20 drakes may vie for single females. And the courtship activity is always easy to spot. Find a brown pintail hen with handsome drakes rushing about, and then settle in to watch. The game is simple for the males. Stay as close to the hen as possible, fighting and showing off to prove their worth. On water, this often involves abrupt dance moves with a soft whistle. The long black pintail, for which the species is named, is a key visual, whether thrust skyward or waggled in flight. And the drakes are quick to flog and bite potential rivals that try to displace them. The hen leads the group on merry chases, sometimes pushed into the air, other times initiating the race herself. But she always directs the flight, often sharply turning or diving to check her suitor's agilities. The sum is almost always an elegant ballet, with orchestrated turns and swoops that may last several minutes before returning to water. Many such groups occur around busy marshes, and other duck courtship flights may be noted as well. But none are as acrobatic and fast as those of pintails, often dubbed greyhounds of the air for their special abilities. What a show, with no tickets required. I'm Mike Blair for Positively Kansas.
Next week, Mike captures the breathtaking beauty and diversity of the colorful Kansas sky and shares an original song he wrote. Nestled in the heart of Kansas, the small town of Goessel holds a hidden gem, an 8-building, open-air folk museum that brings the past to life. This unique destination is a treasure trove of Mennonite and agricultural history, showcasing artifacts and stories that shape the region. But beyond its rich heritage, it's also home to one-of-a-kind art you won't find anywhere else. Anna Spencer takes us there.
Mennonite Heritage and Agricultural Museum Director Fern Bartell flips through a catalog of treasures, photos of unique pieces of history and art that tell the tale of her ancestors and their migration from modern-day Ukraine to central Kansas. Featured in the book, twin sisters Marie and Martha Voth, prominent wheat marquetry artists whose creative and one-of-a-kind work is featured throughout the museum. Related to wheat weaving, wheat marquetry is an art form featuring bits of partial and whole wheat straw. The sisters are known throughout the area for their wheat applique pictures of historical buildings, nature scenes, farms, homes, and custom pieces.
In this area, they're well known, but their works extend probably even worldwide. They just were so generous with their talent and their ability. They did courthouses, they did the Union Station, they did one there for that facility, they did for the Sealy Mansion, they have one there. It's all through this area.
The Voth twins, who both worked as nurses in North Newton, have been doing wheat art for about 25 years. Although Marie passed away a few years ago, the sisters are icons in straw art circles and beloved throughout central Kansas. Bartell notes it was their attention to detail and their great art perspective that always stops museum goers in their tracks.
They get up close, they just get down on their knees to look at the works of art. They were just so precise, and they just had such a grasp of perspective. And their earlier works, you can sort of tell the earlier works did not have color in them. Then as they progressed in their ability, the buildings got more detail, they got more color in them. They just had an amazing talent for that.
While the sisters were commissioned for several local and historic sites, they were also integral to one of the most well-known pieces in the wheat art world, the 1976 United States Bicentennial Wheat Bell. This larger-than-life piece of artwork is a replica of the Liberty Bell, made out of turkey red wheat straw, the same wheat brought to Kansas by the Mennonites in 1874. The bell was a community effort involving almost 200 volunteers and 2,000 man-hours. The banner features a handmade seed inscription, designed and assembled by the Voth sisters. Following a 2-year display at the Smithsonian, the wheat bell is home in Goessel and still draws a lot of attention.
Oh, it's so much bigger than they thought it would be. So it's really a tremendous amount of work that went into the bell. It's something that we like to have people see because Kansas is the wheat state.
Part of several roadside attraction books and websites, the Wheat Bell brings in visitors from across the country who marvel not only at the size of the bell, but the beauty of Kansas wheat art, an art form that captures both culture and creativity, perfected by twin sisters from the wheat state itself. In Goessel, I'm Anna Spencer for Positively Kansas.
That's a wrap for this week. Positively Kansas at kpts.org is our email address if you have a question, comment, or story idea. I'm Sierra Scott. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.